Welcome into Bearcats Daily. I'm your host, Blake Thornton. You're almost there to the end of the week, guys. Appreciate you joining us during the weekdays. Hopefully, we help you get through the week, getting to your favorite part, the weekend. Big news coming in today for starters. There is a four-star quarterback coming out of California that has UC on their radar. Dane Weber, currently ranked as the number one quarterback in California for the class of 2027, has come out with his top three colleges for his recruitment. The first two are UCLA and Cal. Weird, a home state kid has his home state colleges on it. Now, I know California is massive and there's a bunch of different colleges there. California, UCLA, we'll go ahead and chalk those up to being the mainstays in California. Argue with me all you want. I don't care. We're talking about UC here. And his third school is the University of Cincinnati. So, who is Dane Weber? Well, they currently have him as a top 30 quarterback in the nation. Number one, currently ranked in California. He's put up over 4,000 yards and 60 total touchdowns he's been responsible for last season. The kid can run as well as throw the ball. Great passer. He is a little bit on the smaller side. He's 6'1", 220 currently is what he's listed at. Again, we've been over this enough to know. Let's take the listings with a grain of salt. I mean, the colleges will skew those numbers a little bit just to make it look better, especially for recruitment-wise. So I believe the height, because if you're going to lie about being 6'1" and you're like 6 foot or 5'11", 5'10", it's kind of noticeable. Now, if you're like 6'3" and saying you're 6'1", again, that doesn't make sense. But I digress on that whole situation. But currently they have him, when they do comparisons of these recruits, like, okay, who can he end up being like? Who does he look like and remind you of? And Gunnar Stockton has been one of the mainstays of comparison for his type of play. Dane, though, is he's got an interesting play style, I guess. He likes to go off script. I was able to find some highlights of him and spend a couple minutes watching some film. It's not the whole story, but you get a kind of a general idea. He likes to play off script. With his athleticism, when the pocket's breaking down, he's really able to extend plays and then make the throws. But on structured plays where he just has to be basically set back and throw, there's a little bit of, there's a little bit of hesitation there. Need a little work on the structured side, but I love that when he's off script, he can make plays happen. He does have great touch on deep balls. His downfield passes are very, very solid. I do like that. Gives me a lot of Desmond Ridder vibes on that deep ball. However, he really thrives on crossing routes and slants, out routes. Very good at those, especially with his timing, because those are timing routes. Especially when receivers hit that cut, hitting on an out or a flat, that ball's got to be there on time. So he does a very good job of that. I'm hoping we land him here at UC. Obviously, his talents would be much better suited in the Big 12 on UC's team and not wasted on UCLA or Cal football that hasn't been relevant since before I was born. So, with that being said, it'll be exciting to see what happens. Signing day, obviously, hasn't happened yet. He's got till December. Typically, a lot of guys sign in December for football. So, class of 2027 will be an interesting one for sure, and I hope we land him. You can never have too much depth, and especially at a quarterback position where UC has had a good run recently of quarterbacks. It would be nice to add on to that. So we'll be exciting to see. We'll keep you updated as more and more comes out with him, and if he has narrowed it down to 2 colleges or even maybe makes his pick. Obviously, guys can make picks and change, but you hope they don't change. But time, things can change over time. So we're definitely going to keep our eye on that. But the good part is we at least already have our class of 2026 for this season. We've kind of gone over the offensive side of things. We're going to switch over to a little bit of defense, though, today with this discussion. So they signed 4 defensive linemen and 5 defensive backs. Very strong focus going on for this team of getting some depth at the linebacker position, safety and corner, and then also on the D-line, because we've had some turnover on the D-line. Nate Woody is really going to have He's got what I think of as a Swiss Army of a defense. He can pretty much run whatever coverage he wants. But he's got a gentleman coming in, a four-star recruit named Lance Dawson. He's a D lineman, 6'4", 260. Now, what's interesting about this recruit coming in, he's only been playing football since he was a sophomore. And that blows my mind. And I mean, I've heard of it before. We've had guys come out of Cincinnati where they didn't play football till their junior year and they go on to play D1. Some people are just naturally gifted athletes, and he is one of them. They currently have him ranked 9th overall in Ohio. He's from Avon, Ohio. So 9th overall recruit in Ohio, 29th D lineman in the country, and just overall recruit about 212, 210, somewhere in that range. But about being an athlete, kid's a freak of nature. He's a basketball player. Is where he was playing most of it. He decided to come to UC over Illinois and West Virginia. I know they recruited him hard over there at Illinois. He did take a visit there. And he was very transparent with UC when that went on. And kudos to UC. They didn't pressure him. They encouraged him. He goes, yeah, go see another school. Get a comparison. Obviously, these are kids making big decisions. And I think that if you're pressuring them to be like, well, you shouldn't do that or you shouldn't. I understand the recruiting side of it, but being a former college athlete myself, when you take a college visit, you're really trying to see if that's a place you will be comfortable at. You're trying to see where you'd fit in, what life would be like, where are you at, what's the location. It's a big deal, and it is not the easiest decision, but it does play a part in it. I will say that. Where you go to school, we're gonna play the sport we're being recruited for regardless, hopefully. So we really need to be comfortable and want to be there. We want to live there. We want to be happy where we live for those, hopefully 4 years. And I hope they do, by the way, off topic here, but I do hope that they pass a ruling in the NCAA that you must have a 2-year commitment to a school before you transfer. If you transfer in, recruit in, whatever, you have to be in there 2 years. I think that'll fix the transfer portal issues, but I digress there. Back to Mr. Lance Dawson. So, 6 foot, obviously 6'4", 260. Now, that's not very big. He's a basketball player, so he's a little more lean. Obviously, he's athletic. He's got a 4'8", 40-yard dash, a 9'6" broad jump. So, again, basketball player, kid can move. I like that on a D lineman because speed kills. Yeah, you can be strong, but speed kills. If he's quick getting off the ball and he's athletic and can turn a corner hard or shoot a gap, that's only going to benefit him. So we're going to need to see him build some strength a little bit. Obviously, being on campus and doing the workouts, coaches will get him up to speed. Obviously, once he's allowed to, they'll get him working. He'll get in shape, probably put on 25 pounds of muscle. They'll keep him running. He'll be a solid guy, and I'm excited to see what he does. Coming in, obviously West Virginia and Illinois recruit hard, and I was really glad to see UC get this pull. I'm interested to hear interviews once he gets to town and starts working and see how he fits in on the team. Obviously, with Dante Corleone graduating, we do have a big hole to fill. The Godfather was a mainstay of our defense and one of the most disruptive defensive linemen in all of college football. So that's going to be a big hole to fill. I do think Lance can be that guy. He's obviously going to have a different skill set than Corleone, being for the different size and just how they're built and how they work. Corleone was a power D lineman. Obviously, he could move guys, bigger guy, run stopper. I think you can see Lance doing the run stopping, but he's also going to be a good pass rusher, and that will be exciting to see. Hopefully for at least 3 years, I'd like to see him stay. But what can we do? Players are going to come, players are going to go. Hopefully he stays around. I do like the fact that we're getting guys like this in the building. That shows a program is on the rise. And we mentioned Nate Woody being able to plug and place Lance with his athleticism. He's already kind of starting to change things around with some of the defense schemes and assignments. We had a standout safety last year, Antoine Peak Jr. They moved him to outside linebacker this year. Woody wanted to move him into the outside linebacker position and in order to help with a little bit of pass rush and getting some pressure on the quarterback. Now, some of you might be wondering, why did we take a guy who is playing coverage to rush the passer? They go hand in hand. If you are able to pressure a quarterback and limit their time in the pocket, that only helps your secondary. That will benefit them because that's less time they have to cover. Some of the, I mean, you can look at almost any level, NCAA or NFL. The longer that play goes, that quarterback is able to scramble, stand in the pocket. As coverage breaks down, receivers then go into scramble mode. They start moving, and it becomes very tough to cover. So, if you're able to pressure the quarterback to where they have less than 3 seconds from snap to the end of the play, that's only going to benefit the secondary. So, I like the move. Since 2023, Peak has had 133 total tackles. 70 of them were solo, 1 sack, and 6 fumbles forced with 2 passes deflected. So, obviously, you know, he was a younger guy, so he wasn't playing every single down. But he's only got 2 passes deflected. That I don't. That to me, he's not affecting the game by only having 2 passes deflected in his career since 2023. That to me says I'm in coverage, but I'm not knocking balls down. So the outside linebacker position may benefit him. He may slide in there and be able to move and get a little excited. So I like the move. We'll see if it develops and how it works out in the end. It's not a bad thing. I don't think ever changing your position is a bad thing, unless it's detrimental to your skill set, obviously. But I like that fact that coaches are looking at what they have and trying to put them in places they think they can succeed. It's not always going to be right. I've been wrong as a coach. I've put guys in positions I thought they'd do well at, and they didn't, and I had to make adjustments. And that's fine. We have time. He can go all camp trying this position. They're like, hey, this just isn't working. We're going to try something else. Cool. Hey, at least you tried. At least you're trying to improve. And that's what this is about looking at this team. They are trying to improve and build. I hate saying rebuilding because obviously we want to win, but we got to remember this roster had so much turnover that we're going to have to see what guys can do in other positions to fill holes. And it's going to show kind of early on. We're going to see either, are they gelling in these positions with the guys? Are they moving? Are they able to work together? These groups, like the linebacking group, typically has been with each other, in meetings and stuff. So they've already built that little bit of camaraderie. And then, he's with the secondary, the skill positions on defense. So there's going to be a bit of an adjustment period, but we just got to give him time. And it kind of goes into our off-field. It kind of goes to our fan question today from Emo Elmo 697. What a name. Good Lord. But his question was about off-field camaraderie. Does that show or affect how the on-field play typically happens? Elmo, I want to appreciate the question, first off. Second, it is a big factor in what goes on the field. I have, obviously, as most athletes have, you have hundreds of teammates over the years. Just so many different personalities, so many different people, especially from different places as you get to higher levels. It's not your neighborhood kids anymore. So obviously you're going to have a little bit of butting heads. You're not going to get along with everybody, and that's okay. However, as you learn, as you grow, you got to be professional when you're there to do work, whether you like somebody or not. But I will say in my own experience, when I have developed relationships off the field with my teammates, we have played better together. It definitely helps. And it also helps not just at the college level, but professional. Look at Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Super close in college, and then super close now, and they've got one of the best connections in the NFL, and probably will set more records than Brady and Gronk did. I know that's wild, but hey, kill me. I'm hopeful, right? So, yes, off-field camaraderie is important, and I do hope that teams are, giving situations or opportunities for guys to really come together and just, try to build that relationship, because especially with all the turnover that we've discussed multiple times on this show, these are a lot of new players who you're going to have to get to know and rebuild those relationships. So it is a huge factor when it comes to on-field play. Now you can not like people and still dominate. I mean, that's that's just where just sheer talent and ability comes in. However, I would rather be on a team where everybody it's a brotherhood. It's a family. Like we get done playing after the game, we're gonna go sit, do our ice bath or whatever, and just talk or go back to their dorm and just sit and hang out. They don't have to do anything crazy. Just that time together really helps build that repertoire with each other, and it will pay dividends on the field. I'm excited to see what that brings. Elmo, appreciate the question. If you guys would like your questions answered on the show, make sure you leave them in the comments. If you have any thoughts or hot takes or anything you want to know about, make sure you put that in the comments as well. If you've been watching, hopefully you've hit that subscribe and like button. It's a absolute privilege doing this. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Tomorrow for Friday, I got some exciting stuff. One of the biggest things people have brought up, we're going to go over my beef with Travis Kelce. We're going to talk about the Kelce brothers and their history with UC, and it's obviously Wear Red Friday, so you know what that means. I'm really looking forward to the show tomorrow. We're going to dive into the history of UC, why I think Travis Swift is just lucky to be where he is, and it'll be fun. So look forward to it. Until then, y'all, appreciate you tuning in. Have a good one.